To flex each and every single time in order to see them. I finally figured it out. Chris, you're losing your abs. It wasn't a good fucking feeling. It made me feel off about myself. I wasn't comfortable taking my shirt off. You would just see a whole bunch of just fat around my stomach. But if I would have taken that shirt off, man, oh fucking man. In order to see your abs, you have to understand that you have to be at... What is up, YouTube? We are back with another vid. Today we're going to be talking about everything I did to see my abs again, because there was a point in time where I had the abs, but I was only able to see them when I flexed the abs. Like, I didn't have them 24/7, and I had to really try and flex my abs to even see it in the picture. And I always wondered why everybody else had visible abs 24/7. How the fuck they even got visible abs 24/7? And I was just had to flex each and every single time in order to see them. I finally figured it out. I finally fucking figured this shit out. The most important thing that I learned was figuring out that having visible abs 24/7 is a combination of having a low body fat percentage and also training them. You can't just have one, you have to have both in order to see your abs. So we're gonna go straight into detail with this so you guys can have the fucking abs that you want 24/7. Now, when I dirty bulked during wrestling season, it was arguably one of the worst parts of my life. I had no abs. It wasn't in the best shape that I could have possibly been in. I was out of breath. The reason why I couldn't see my abs at that period of time was because I had a high body fat percentage. Right, I was still in the gym consistently training abs each and every single day on a daily basis. I was wondering where my abs went, but that's because the food that I was eating and the amount of calories that I was eating was way too much to even see my abs. You can have the strong abs, you can train them each and every single day, but if your body fat percentage is high, you're not going to be able to see that. And that was the main problem that I was facing at this time. I record a video for my fitness page because at this time I was just starting my fitness channel, and I had to flex my abs so hard to even see it just a little bit. My friends actually, told me about this. They were like, Chris, you're losing your abs. You're losing your six pack. I'm really losing my abs. And it wasn't a good fucking feeling. I always had it before because I was so fucking skinny that my abs were kind of visible. But now when I started to bulk up, it made me feel off about myself. There was this one time that a girl came over to my house, and I wasn't comfortable taking my shirt off like I usually am because my abs weren't there. If I were to take my shirt off, she would just see a whole bunch of just fat around my stomach. And I was insecure about this, It wasn't a good point in time. The way for me to get around this was putting on like a tight black shirt. So it didn't show my stomach, but it showed my arms because my arms were decently sized at the time. So I wanted to make sure it looked like I was in shape. But if I would have taken that shirt off, man, oh fucking man. I best believe I wasn't taking that shirt off. So that whole time she was there, I did not take my shirt off, regardless of what we fucking did. That shirt stayed on because I just didn't have the abs that I wanted. And dirty bulking, I do not recommend this to anyone. Just lean bulk. Delay your gratification. Because when you dirty bulk, when you're not in the shape that you want to be in, your confidence, it'll be fucked. In order to see your abs, you have to understand that you have to be at 10 to 12% body fat. You can't be above this if you want to see your abs. And if you really want to be shredded, which I don't recommend because that only appeals to men, not girls, you can go lower than that. 10 to 12% body fat, you will see your abs visibly in everyday life. You barely have to fucking flex. In order to get a low body fat percentage, you need to make sure that you're prioritizing your cardio. 10 to 20 minutes of cardio each and every single day. You have to optimize before you standardize. Most people, they quit in the gym because they can't stay consistent with their cardio. They can't stay consistent with their gym sessions because they show up for 1 or 2 days out of the fucking week and don't show up the rest of the week. The way to get over this is just optimize your workouts. Even if it's just 10 minutes of cardio each and every single day, you still showed up, right? It's still going to improve your body if you stay consistent with this. 10 minutes of cardio each and every single day is what? 70 minutes the whole week, and then if you do 20 minutes of cardio, that multiplies. And then when you do it on a consistent daily basis over a month, I don't know how many fucking minutes that is. Optimizing your diet as well as doing a Stairmaster. Me personally, I eat lean ground beef. This is low in sodium. This is a great option for you because sodium is going to bloat your face. So you want to choose options that are low in sodium. And I eat ground beef and I eat rice. You can watch the video that I made on it before, how to make it. This is literally, I eat this shit every single day with no problem. When you're constantly eating this fucking fast food, eating all this sodium, you're not tracking your calories, that's when that body fat percentage goes higher. That's when your abs won't be visible. In order to start all this off, you have to find your calorie maintenance. This is an easy thing to do. You can go to a macro calculator or go to ChatGPT, put all your information on there. It will tell you what your calorie maintenance is. And then from there, you get a calorie tracking app so that you can scan your meals if there is no labels. And you can also track how much calories you're eating in a day. And then once you do that, you're good, you're set. I personally use Calorie.ai and sometimes I use ChatGPT because the meal scanners, they can be a little bit off sometimes in Calorie.ai. So I use ChatGPT to double check on my calories. This is what I do. And it's important to note, if you're trying to lean bulk, you should only be about 200 to 300 calories above your maintenance. You're still going to be able to see your abs if you're 200 to 300 calories above your maintenance. And if you're trying to cut 300 to 500 calories below your maintenance, you don't want to be fucking 1,000 calories below your maintenance because your body is going to go into this mode where it's not going to burn off any fat. It's going to try and store it as much as you can. This is a problem that I had with Johnny, right? We started off with a high calorie deficit and he wasn't losing any weight. That's because we were trying to lose the weight in such a short period amount of time that his calories were too low, right? His body was trying to save and store all that fat because it was in survival mode. So when we upped his calories, he started losing that weight and it started to disappear, right? This is a transformation in only 4 months. I had ripped fucking abs. It was during wrestling season because I was at a low body fat percentage. I was constantly training, getting constant conditioning in, and my body fat percentage was low. So my abs would show all the damn time, even through my wrestling singlet. But that's because my body fat percentage was so fucking low. You have to understand this shit plays a huge role into your abs being visible. The next aspect is the training portion of this. Your abs are a combination of both your body fat and your training. You can't have one without the other. Your abs can grow like any other muscle. This is something that I found out along my journey. Planks never really worked for me. I don't really understand the point of planks. If you're trying to work on your stability, understand why you're doing planks. But if you're trying to build, quality muscle in your abs, trying to thicken them, right? Because they can grow like any other muscle. Why wouldn't you train them like every other muscle? You wouldn't train your biceps by holding a dumbbell like this. So I never really got the point of holding planks to grow your abs. I never understood the logic behind it. You can supplement it into it, but it just hasn't worked for me. When I started seeing my abs thicken and grow, it was when I was training it like every other muscle. I was doing weighted ab crunches on the ab machine. I was doing leg raises, right? I was doing crunches. Abs, you have to note that they can be trained literally every single day if you wanted to. I don't recommend it, but I personally do it every other day. Your abs are a special muscle group. They can be trained frequently. It's not like your biceps where you have to train it 2 or 3 times a week. You can train this literally every other day. And if you want to, you can train it every single day. I know a lot of people that train it every single day and they have visible abs. They have thick abs. And it's just important to note that your abs are just like every other single muscle group. They can grow like every other single muscle. When it comes to abs, I do a lot of supersets. I do a lot of drop sets. You're back. I had to change locations real quick because I didn't want any background noise. But in summary, the reason why I couldn't see my abs back in my earlier journey was because I wasn't at a low body fat percentage and I wasn't training them properly. The planks that you're doing, for me personally, it didn't do jack shit. Right? I had to incorporate strength training into it. I had to incorporate, supersets, drop sets into my ab training it like every other muscle group, because they're no different than your biceps. They're no different than your chest. Except for the fact that they can be trained more frequent, but they can grow like any other muscle. but they're just revealed through a low body fat percentage. Most people, 90% of people in the gym, they can't see their abs because they're not at a low body fat percentage. Not because they're weak or they're not there. You probably have abs right now. You're just not able to reveal them because your body fat percentage is so much higher than it needs to be. But if you can manage to cut back down, bro, I promise you, your abs will be there. If you can achieve abs, you are ahead of a lot of other people. You know, having a visible 6-pack 24/7 or 8-pack, whatever the fuck you have, bro, that is rarer than becoming a millionaire. 1 in 10 people are millionaires, but 1 in 20 or 30 people have visible 6-pack abs. You can do the math on that. So, brother, if you can to get your fucking abs, you can get a low body fat percentage, start training your abs, bro, I promise you, bro, you could conquer anything in life. More likely to become a millionaire than just have visible 6-pack abs. Like, it's crazy how people can't prioritize their health. So if you can manage to prioritize your health, you will be ahead of most people. But if you're a guy, you want to make a transformation of your own, you need help on your journey, feel free to book a one-on-one call with me in my link in my YouTube description, and I'll see if you're a good fit. But I'll catch you guys in the next video.